Hello, Commanders, and welcome to the RNG Endgame, a podcast about the game Marvel Strike Force. Your hosts are Frid and Creative. We're leaders in an alliance from a large cluster, and would like to share our insights with you to hopefully improve your gameplay and overall experience, and give you a little entertainment.
All right, Creative, we've made it yet another week, and episode 25, it's kind of a milestone, right? A little round number action.
Yeah, 8,000 downloads too.
Well, how about that? Who knew? Week in and week out. Almost half a year exactly. Anyway, we'll kick it off with my update for the week. And the first one, unfortunately, is the negative one. It's about Squirrel Girl. But I will get that detail when we run the numbers. It's just not been fun for me. Another thing that hasn't been fun is Dark Dimension 3. So as much fun as I had with Cosmic and the first 3 city nodes, this last node just sounds or seems to be just a world of hurt. I only have 2 characters, Symbiote and Carnage, and I really think I need a third because that first wave, there's just too much going on. I'm not doing... I show you the screenshot. It's like a couple 100,000 damage per attempt. The last one was like 100,000. And unfortunately, I can't get to Venom anytime soon. I looked at Punisher, but I don't have any of the cloths. So I'll just be sitting here for 2 weeks probably. Just kind of like the old global node, just grinding at it day in and day out. And that's just not the fun, right? The first 3 nodes you can kind of control and get lucky and try to work it out. But this, I don't see a way out. You just got to grind it out. The other thing that was really disappointing is that I missed the Beast Top 2000.
And not by a lot.
Yeah, this was like the Hella that still haunts me to this day. It was like, I counted maybe 6 fights, something like that. It was 25 million, so not... I did for X23 like 31 million or something crazy, which has been the all-time high because I really, really was motivated. As we know, Beast was kind of like, eh. And then I got 4 reds, and I was like, maybe I'll try it. And I did, but I guess... I don't know if the reconfiguration of the teams is not working, or I'm just burnt out. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I did miss cycles, and I didn't stress too much about it. I mean, it's crazy, but missed it. I think I need to get it on the second run, and I'll have it right at 4 anyway, so that'll be okay. But if I don't get it, then no 4 stars for Beast, which I won't sweat, whatever. Okay, so drum roll, please. Exciting news, Creative. For the first time out of a orb, I got a 7 red star drop.
What?
Did it with my daughter. Saw it coming. The gold. She's the one that saw it. And it made me angry, Creative. Pretty angry. Like green with anger. And then she said, it starts with an H. So... yeah, it's the Hulk.
Wow.
I guess it could have been worse, right? I mean,
you could get just all 4 stars like me, so I mean...
it's not a Ravager, right?
This is true.
I put him in that team that Arctic recommended, the Guardians, for Drax. And he got me some defensive victories in war. Now, I don't have him up yet. He's like tier 9, maybe. But when I get to him after Venom and all that stuff, I mean, he may be a handful over there. So, can't complain too much. Also, on this run where I opened on my hunt for Emma Frost, I got a 6 red star Negasonic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, a 5 red star Nick Fury Crystal and Hydra Rifle Trooper, and a 4 red star Strife and Killmonger. How about that?
That is a fantastic list.
And then I got 1 red on Emma Frost.
Wow. And we both had 30 plus orbs, plus you kept
Yep,
opening them, right?
I did. I opened everything I had until she left, and I
Wow.
got one, like one, not two or a third. No,
No,
one.
that's like not even possible for you. You got the Frid look. No, that's wow.
So the only reason I'm not crushed is all this other stuff I got, which I mean, all of
Sure.
that is useful somewhere. And I hear you don't really need. She's very kit based, so the red stars are not as important. So anyway, we'll see. Um, okay, I finished the X marks the spot because I use my X Force. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I 3-star the Relic Hunt tier 7, the last one,
Hey,
and I
wow.
got a ton of like SBCs and ABCs, so I was excited. It was a I upgraded Nobu, I think, a little bit. It was the same thing as last time, and I just kept trying. And on the last try, like everything worked out, the RNG, and I got the 3-star. And I was like, yes, this thing is done. And I did. It's like 170 my team, so I didn't spend much on them, which is great. Um, I got Ultimus to 7 stars. He keeps dropping in the middle of these orbs, so um, that's done. So when I finish Dark Dimension 2 and I get the red stars, he's going to be a force. And finally, I T13 the 2 members of the Black Order, Cole, Obsidian, and Corvus Glaive. Now, Creative, I wanted to ask you, I don't feel confident in my Black Order. It's like 330. But I know we shared that video last week about how you can punch up with the Black Order. Did you try this at all
I
this week?
tried it a couple times. One in arena where I had my team's only like 315 because I have less stars and less red stars as always than you do, and I don't have Proxima Midnight, her basic T Ford, and I went up against the 415 Black Order and things were going fine, but I wasn't fully paying attention and I missed doing the flip for Thanos and things went
Oh,
downhill very very fast. So I'm still gonna try it. Unfortunately, finding a team that's I would think doable is challenging because my arena shard is ridiculous.
yes.
I did go up against the Black Order in War, and it was quite a bit higher. Plus, it was what was it? It was buffed. And so I sent in a first team against it, and then I went in my Black Order, but Thanos' ult was up. So I've
Oh,
I've had a pretty bad run, mostly just because I'm not really paying attention as I should. I keep looking for the fight in Blitz, but I can't find it. But I'm going to give it another try or two this coming week. If nothing else, I can get to half of the week when the arena fights are limited. I can get to the top 5 or 6
yep.
before the cutoff. So I'll fight a couple of those and I'll report back. But thus far, I've had a really tough time going at it.
Yeah. I need to revisit that video. My plan is still the same to finish them off after DD3 first run. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if I get lucky with the materials. And I'm capping at around 5 because the first 3 or 4 are those, nearly 500 black orders that I just can't deal with. So I need an answer. And since I'm stuck in this last node, I may be kind of in a deficit here for about a week, but or two. So hopefully I can fix or try this black order approach, and then I'll report back. So that's me. How about you, Creative? What was your week like?
Well, I feel like you finished the game. I mean, you finished all the challenges. You finished all of the monthly events. You got a 7-star Ultimus. So, what is like your next goal?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Finishing DD3, obviously. I decided to farm Kree Noble because why not finish Nick Fury even though it doesn't matter. It's the last one that I don't have.
Okay.
Uh, then there'll be the next legendary, I suppose. Ebony Maw and what's his name, Doc Ock. But all the challenges are done, all the missions are done, everything is 3 stars. So I don't know.
So, are you looking forward to Gear Tier 15 and yet more challenges? Tiers of challenges?
No.
Okay.
But I'm looking anyway. we can talk about it later.
Okay.
What they should do. It's not the same repetitive, but harder to make you grind for the same stuff, but actually something different. I think is what's needed here.
Okay. I'm just curious because like I saw the Ultimate 7-star in game, and I was thinking to myself, what do you have left to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on that same thought pattern, for me, I am done with a lot of the stores, at least for my consideration, of where I consider I'm done. So Blitz, I'm officially done. There's no character that I need in there. They're not all. I haven't spent the $500,000 to unlock all of them to 7, but they are all at 7 or higher. Some of them ridiculously higher in terms of shards, like X-Bones or Crossbones. The raid store, I have 15 shards to get Trooper to 7, and then I'm not going to spend time on Namor because it's Namor. Arena, I've done massive amount of progress over the last month. Let's see, Heimdall, Crystal, Quake, M'Baku, Deadpool, Scarlet Witch, all 7-star. So that was an impressive run. Yeah, some of that was the Deadpool event where I got a bunch of shards from that and some other things. But all of that is now done. And so I'm working slowly on Blob. He's halfway to 6 stars, I think, at this point. So, and then who else is left in there? Some of the minions at the bottom that I don't care about. And then Human Torch, another good character, but I'm just probably not going to spend the time on him. Once I get Blob to where I want to be, I'm sure something new will come through.
Yeah, that's one of those optional teams, I guess. But it's important in war. But yeah, it's war. So.
Well, and we'll get to counters in a little bit. So I've just like right before we actually finished our notes here, I found another counter that I'll talk about. I'll throw it in.
Oh, cool.
And then the war store. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Sif is 7 yellow stars.
I saw that. I was like, wow.
Oh, man.
That took forever and a day.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 40,000 war credits to get her from 6 to 7. It's just crazy. So, yeah, and then Graviton was really close to 6, so I got him to 6. And so at this point, Sinister is only 5 yellow stars. He's a ways away from 6. Pyro's about 30 shards from being 7. But I am sitting on my credits. I am trying to get some mini uniques, particularly Icors and Marrows, to finish Thanos and to do Carnage. So I don't know if I'm going to go after Sinister. Still, I'm not hyped about him overall, but we'll talk about him some more. And then from just a gearing perspective, I haven't had a big focus. So, Black Order is stuck. I can't get them any higher because it's all mini uniques and things like that. So I did a little bit of X-Force. I think they're only around 100K, and I've realized, why did I bother doing this if you're not going to go all the way?
Yeah.
So they're kind of a weird spot, but I did do Ironheart almost to the parking lot level. I think she needs a little bit more leveling, and so I was very excited. Took her into war against a slight punch down of Hydra, and she got blown up in the first turn. So I didn't even get to do her fancy defense down to try and take out Hydra. So that was disappointing.
Yeah, I'm farming her still. I don't feel confident at all. She's 4 and 4 yellow for red, and I'm not comfortable bringing her into that.
Yeah, so I'm about 10 shards away from getting into 4 stars. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep plugging. I think I had her in the wrong position too. I'm going to try and protect her a little more, but thus far still have not been able to do that yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't even bothered trying it. So.
Okay.
I'll wait.
Yeah, and then as soon as we finished the show last week, there was a data mine, and then we've now seen that come into the game about Emma Frost being a milestone character. So I think she's coming in the 18th, which is not enough time to save up gold. So I have been massively turtling, trying to keep my spending to 800K or less, trying to keep it really to the 500K level. So I guess we should celebrate that she's not another Blitz unlock.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. It depends what it is. There was some cryptic language about something about the milestone, right? In the announcement. I remember in the original announcement, like an extra tier or something about it. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, think about it. We've talked about this. They're doing everything they can for whales because if we don't have a whole lot to do,
Hmm.
whales have nothing to do. So they're going to give. I'm sure they're going to go back to the Coulson unlock method where you could spend a lot more golds, i.e., put money into the game and buy gold and all that. So I suspect they're going to make it whale friendly. And
Yeah.
so yet
And do you?
another defensive team or player that can change the war that you can only get through a milestone.
Yeah. And so now this would be kind of the fourth of that style, and Symbiote is gone. What do you think they're gonna do with him?
Uh,
And
I don't know.
because you have Coulson, Captain Marvel, Coulson, now Symbiote, and then Emma. Those are the four kind of marquee milestone characters.
I mean, what are you going to
Um,
get? A 40% drop of getting one of those
I
four? That
know,
doesn't
like
feel right. So,
Captain Marvel's getting kind of with all the compensation they did. A lot of people may have heard already, so
hmm
I don't know.
it'll be interesting. Yeah,
Yep.
not sure. We get a character for doing things that we're already doing and managing our resources, so that's great. I hate the gold throttling.
I
I
know. I
hate
know.
it so
Well,
much.
hopefully this will make you spend a little bit more if you want to get there.
Yep.
So right now it's kind of a lull because you can't go crazy spending, but then you can go crazy when she shows up, depending on what it is.
Yep. Yep. So we'll
Hey,
see. Yeah.
a question here that I thought about as I
hmm
was thinking about Symbiote Spider-Man. So do you think, and we talked about this in the debate about red stars, do you think it would be wise to do Carnage and Symbiote, 5 and 6, to help with this node, or just forget all that, keep my promotion credits, and just buy the bullet and keep plugging away at it? Because that was an idea that I thought. I was like, these are two great characters. That could be a way to help me with this mode, and they'll be useful the second time around too.
Yeah, again, I don't want to do anything for Dark Dimension
Yeah,
3.
yeah,
So
that's
that's you could put that logic off to the side. Instead, I would focus on what can they do for you outside of that. And so I still have not really gone ham with them in war yet. I do want to start trying them out against teams because I like the team, but
yep,
so I want to see them a little bit more in war. I have been using them in U7.
yeah,
So I use Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man for the first two nodes, and I have some pretty tricky first nodes, and they do okay. I have not been successful with them on a boss node yet, so I'm going to keep plugging and trugging, but I'm still on the fence about taking them any further. We both have Carnage at, I think, 4, so I mean,
yeah.
that's pretty good already.
Here's the so you have Doc Ock for the Sinister Six. I mean, these guys are gonna get a legendary at one point, and that's gonna be crazy, in my opinion. But it may be the next like super crazy thing, but that's a lot of speculation, right?
No, she's gonna be, or he is gonna be like Invisible Woman, which you can use in a lot of different places, but not game defining.
Oh, okay. All right.
Totally. It's sinister sticks. I don't care how much you beef them up. They're still not going to be X-Men or anything like that, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see if they show up. Maybe I'll get tempted, or if I do another 100,000 damage, I may say, "Forget it, I'm doing it."
Yeah, I mean, we get so many of these silver promotion
I
credits. So
know.
I mean, yeah,
Nothing.
yeah. Which, by the way, we haven't talked about this at all week. I have 200 plus both silver and gold, and I'm sitting on them. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do just yet. Thanos showed up today, but I don't know what I'm going to do. So
Yeah,
anyway,
Hella has shown up a billion times at 6, and I'm not doing it.
no, a great character, but I think you get more value.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry to hijack your little section.
No,
But I
that's
just thought
all
of
good
that.
stuff. Yeah. And then I've talked about Taskmaster in the past and how I like him, and I think he can do a lot for you. I now have 30 ballistic weaves, and so I was plotting how to get him all the way up, and then Emma Frost uses ballistic weaves, I think. So
Oh,
I don't know what I'm gonna do there. So
I have like two because I use them all in Sinister. So,
yeah.
oh,
So that one's one that shows up pretty regularly. I see the serums, the piss jars, whatever we want to call them. I see what is it? The not the Stark Tech one. Yeah, the Stark Tech one that the Shield
Shield
guy
Tech
uses.
or Hammer
Yeah,
Tech?
Shield Tech and the Hammer Tech. I see those three like every day.
Mm-hmm.
It is hilarious. My gold store. It is the same stuff every day, and I'm like, come on. But anyway, I get off topic. So I am very tempted to look at Taskmaster, but again, I want to see how and what Emma is going to be and do, and we'll talk about her a little bit more. So let's actually switch gears here and talk about the news.
All right, so they dropped their update. It actually had two pieces of news, what I consider actual news, and one is a character that seemed to come out of nowhere for me, and it's Baron Zemo, and it's a controller for Hydra. Based on what the kit looks like and what it does, it seems to me like what they're trying to do is introduce a character to provide a home for these Hydra stragglers, namely Winter Soldier, Crossbones, and Hydra Grenadier, who was left out of the old team. So the other thing that's crazy is that it is a counter to Red Skull and Hydra. So Hydra countering Hydra, maybe it's two different factions.
Yeah.
As a result of this, all of these characters, Winter Soldier, Crossbones, Hydra Grenadier, and even Red Skull, are getting a rework so that they work better with Baron Zemo. What do you think of this, Creative?
This is so odd. It's like I guess you said, a in-game battle for the ownership or leadership of Hydra. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. One team that counters a team with the same tag. I don't know. But again, this is all they're doing is introducing war characters. I need something else.
Yep. Okay, so next piece of news that they had talked about was a new campaign called Doom War. I'm sure that's just the name, and it'll be just like the others nodes. And it is. And basically, they're also locking these nodes behind character traits. There was kind of a hodgepodge. We're not gonna get into the details, but this is the nodes where you can farm the tier 14 gear. And a little bit of a surprise there, Negasonic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle again becoming farmable as part of this campaign. She's in the last node. They also have a node for Thor, which I saw that and I read it like 3 times. I was like, wait, what? Thor? I think this is the rescue approach. You put like a placeholder
Yeah.
because you're not ready to say who really goes there. And there's plenty of candidates. Who do you think should go there when Thor leaves inevitably? I mean, this makes no sense.
No sense whatsoever. Because anybody that's a late game player, because this is what this is going to take, is a late game player to get to this.
Mm-hmm.
Already has Thor, so
yeah,
it makes no sense. I mean, we talked and talked and talked. They give no love to Cyclops. I think the Fox Next Scopely community is still trying to punish us for the Fix FS movement, and they're never going to make Cyclops available. And then we already talked about all the great characters that have been out for months. So yeah, this is definitely weird. So I don't know.
Well, we'll see how hard this campaign is. I saw Inhuman Tax somewhere, so I feel good about that with my 7 Red Star Black Bolt. But we'll see about the others. Okay, so another news is there was another bug. Another week, another bug. This is a new style of bug, and that is that, the 15% bonus for Emma Frost?
Yeah.
Where I got 1 Red Star? Well, at some point, I can't remember when, this appeared mysteriously and for about 15 minutes. So obviously there were people that pulled orbs and they were not getting the bonus. I'm not sure how they figured this out, that she wasn't there. Maybe somebody opened a bunch like me and never saw her and it's like, what's going on? So they're going to try to identify. They said how they were going to compensate this. So what How
Oh
do
my
you think this is
goodness.
gonna turn? Like, try to find who opened a 6 or a 7, and we're gonna contact you, and we're gonna see who else opened. What do you think is gonna happen here? Creative with this attempt at compensation.
This is gonna be a disaster. But how do you like have her in the orb? And I got the dog barking for Grant and team. So sorry about that. We're in a rush today. But how do you like have it working and then not have it working?
I just don't know.
So I always, and this is one thing I would tell everybody, is you go into the orb and you look at the rewards and you go click on the first one, which is like 7-star. You scroll all the way down, you make sure it says 15%, but then they like take it out. This is shady. This is really, really shady.
Yeah. And anyway, I saw another message last night saying, "Oh, we appreciate all the feedback that we've received on the red star for Emma. But it's late on a Friday, so we'll get back to everybody." To me, I'm thinking selfishly here, they should just run it again, and that way I get another crack at it. But there's no way that's going to happen, so we'll see where they take it.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, yeah, we've talked about the quality. Come on, guys. Jeez. Whew. Yeah, speaking of kind of strange things happening, I did not realize that Scopely continues to go back to the old Blitz unlock method, and that Beast doesn't get shards below the 1% again. So I've been kind of talking you down from all this craziness of Blitz that you do. And I was just gonna do my 10 million and get to the 3 or 5% and have some more shards, but that's not gonna happen. So, one of the things that we didn't really talk about in that 2020 roadmap was that Scopely plans on giving us more shards from Blitz. Yay! So if we took the example of the first Beast Blitz, I can't talk. Peter piped to pick peppers. Anyway, so if we take the first Beast Blitz, we'll leave all that in for people's viewing pleasure or listening pleasure. But if you looked at that Blitz and the predictions and ultimately what turned out to be those rewards, to go from the 3 to 5% reward, which was projected to be around 7 million, to get up to the 1 to 2%, you would have to double the amount of blitzing that you would do and get up to about 15 million. And for all of that, you would get a grand total of 10 more shards.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's a 3 hours per shard kind of cost there.
Yeah.
So, that's great that they're looking at doing this, but I just can't bring myself to blitz more than getting to my kind of 10 million or so. But I'm very, very disappointed that they continue to go back to this old method of blitz. I thought we'd gotten past this, Scopely. Come on. Let's have a real conversation there. But let's moving on to some other things. The new Marauders with Emma. I've been trying to find us some good counters. I've watched a ton of videos, and we had a whole lot of attempts in war this week, which we'll get into. Dutch Rudders came out and did a video with Xtron, which is X-Men with Ultron, and he got very lucky in the fight and was able to do it. I'm still on the fence if everybody's going to get that lucky every time. We did have an alliance mate destroy the Marauders with X-Force. But it was, someone went in first to take care of the buffs and the Sinister clone. So we still need to do some testing there. But overall, I would say, ouch, this is not a fun fight. I took in my X-Men against them, and I took out one character.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a pleasant experience, to say the least.
I think I took in Inhumans because we had lost this war already, and I think they ended up all with full health and nothing happened. It was something like that. I was like, okay, well, that was useless.
Well, Inhumans is supposed to be a counter. I've seen several videos, but again, I want to see some more testing. The key thing is it appears you need to take out Strife first. Otherwise, he just keeps getting regen and barrier, and you just can't get through him. So you take out him first, and then you go after Sinister or Emma. And the key thing with the Inhumans fight is that you need to use Karnak and his ult where he dispels and blocks buffs on Strife. And that will prevent him from doing a lot of the cool things that he does.
Yeah, actually, now I think I'm misremembering. I think it was either Aimtron or some other. It wasn't Inhumans because, no. But whatever it was, it didn't do anything.
Yeah, Aimtron and then X-Men, all of those kind of struggled a bit. But I was doing a massive punch up. I punch up. My X-Men were 350 and I was going against a 450 Marauders. 450. So in terms of counters, the other things, Casino is back in action in terms of outlining counters to teams. I'm on the fence about these, but he's basically saying that Beast and the X-Men can counter Black Order, and Marauders with Emma counter the Black Order as well. I'm probably calling foul on these because, first and foremost, the average player is not going to have a 6-star Beast or Emma anytime soon. And then secondarily, he has a 7 yellow star, 7 red star Sinister. He's got a beefy Colossus. He's got a beefy Cyclops. So I'm on the fence if these are really viable for, non-Whalish people. So I'm going to keep doing some checking on that. We'll report back. We've got to talk about Black Order on Black Order and then some of these Marauder counters as well as some of these other things. So more to come there. If people find counters, please do stop by Discord or other places and let us know what is working. And of course, we're going to keep trolling YouTube looking for those counters. And then to close out the news, our Still Haven't Heard section. For some reason, we still do not have any automation of Blitz matches. I don't know what's going on. The mode still does not help players learn to do punch-ups. And then Yo-Yo, Frid, Yo-Yo is still only in the premium orbs. I mean, I don't know what I need to do here. And then we still have seen 0 improvements to low quality time. And then the other one we always talk about is the Raid Store. Namor was the last edition in February.
What's the hold up? What is happening?
I mean, we only have about 10 characters that need to be farmable. Come on. So,
I have like 60 of those orbs ready to fire whenever this drops.
Oh, look at you. Wow.
Yep.
Nice. All right. And let's switch gears to let's run the numbers. And so last week we talked about the Xmarks, the spot event. Frid has gone ham and has already finished it. I'm about halfway through. Now that we've seen the full duration, which is 9 days instead of what we projected of 7 days, the event is even easier for you all. If you follow our outline and you're using X-Force in War, you're using them in Blitz, you only need to do about 2.5 cycles per day. So not too shabby. If you're like me and you have an aversion to the X-Force for no apparent reason, then you have to do about 4 cycles a day to get to the end. And that's assuming you're doing your 5 arena attacks and you're doing your 7 war attacks, etc., etc. So it should be a fairly doable event for those that do, regular blitzing. We've had events that we've needed to do anyway, or at least I have. So, all right, Fred.
I'm all for in between when there's nothing, them throwing something like this. A few shards here and there for things that we already do. We didn't have to kind of tamper too much with what we were doing. And if it fills a gap and it rewards, I'm all for it. It doesn't have to be like the big Fun in the Sun, just big ones that give you tons of stuff.
Absolutely.
I think this kind of stuff should be more frequent. So we appreciate it. And the timeline was good. It wasn't punitive. So, all right. So now I mentioned at the top of the show about Squirrel Girl and her event, which is coming to a close. And I followed for the first time religiously my own advice this time, and I did 8 refreshes a day. Okay. That's 600 cores a day. All right, because 4 at 50 and 4 at 100 each. So that for 16 days was 9,600 cores, right? Remember, I had 19,000 cores.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have 12,000. That's because, as I mentioned, I can't get number 1 anymore, so I'm not as getting cores as fast. And the milestones of gold and all that is a little bit less. But still, a big spend in cores. And according to the numbers, I should have gotten a 5-star Squirrel Girl. Well, I am at 102 out of 130. So what this means is, after all this, I receive 255 shards from the orbs, right? You get 27 from the campaign. I got 255 from the orbs. Okay, so let's break this down. What is good about this? If you look at it from 9,600 cores is an insane number, right? But from a efficiency of core per shard, the event is still one of the best, because you know how at the store, the gold store, how much is 5 shards there? How much does it cost?
Oh, it's at least 450 or something, right?
450, right?
Yeah.
And then the Blitz orbs, they're at 675, and what do you get? Like 8 on average, maybe 6?
Rip off. Yes.
Yeah. So in the case of these events, at my rate, which was pretty low, that's 188 cores for 5 shards, which is pretty good. And you get gold and all that other stuff. So I think, still a fan of the events, I think it's a good idea. However, here's the bad. We did the numbers using their own average drop rates. And I should be getting 5.4 shards per orb on average. Especially because I opened 60 throughout the event, because I showed you the screenshot, Creative. I ran out of shards in some of the fragments, in some of the mediums, and in some of the hard. Like I ran them out. So 60 orbs. I should have had 326 shards plus the 27, which would have been more than enough for a 5. And here I am short by 28 shards. So I'm not going to even get to 5. That means my average drop rate was not 5.4, but a 4.25. And no Karnak, of course. I feel like I've been robbed. Think about it. This is the 3rd time in a row where this is happening. Either I'm the unluckiest person in the world, which we know I'm not. Because
you don't have creative luck. Yeah.
Or these rates, again, they're messing with it, like the Emma Frost thing. I mean, it's hard to argue with doing this over and over again and falling short by like that so much. It's not feasible, right? Unless I'm just every time unlucky.
I tell you, this is
what do you
Scopely.
think?
This is the Scopely effect taking over. So we had the conspiracy theory the other week. I fully believe that they are monkeying with these orbs. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It doesn't make any sense. So pretty upset about it. I won't spend any more and just wait until she's farmable in 6 months and get her to 5. Hopefully she's not required for any legendaries anytime soon.
What game are you playing? 6 months.
Anyway, I kind of started this already, but I'll turn it over to you for a proper Festivus Creative.
Yeah. This was, I would say, probably one of the worst weeks we've had in MSF in quite some time, particularly on the Alliance War front. So we've had 2 wars this week, and and I think that was the catalyst for some other things that have happened. So first, in terms of the wars, our opponents this week were only around 15% higher than us, which is typically gives us the green light. We go ham, and we typically win most of those. However, we have run into a new Alliance meta for the summer, which is people go crazy with their defense. And the first team we went against, I think we saw maybe a 300 or 350 K team, but the rest are like 400 plus. Mm-hmm. And it was just stacked upon stacked upon stacked. And then that entire alliance wailed out, and all of them bought Emma Frost. And they didn't just buy one of Emma Frost offer. They had 5, I think we saw 1 6 yellow star Emma Frost. So the amount of money that alliance spent is crazy. So anyway, we got to be the guinea pigs on Emma Frost, and that was very rough. But it was Emma Frost after Emma Frost after Emma Frost. So that was really rough. And then the other half of the Alliance War meta that we're seeing is that you go and recruit one or two guys that have a ridiculous collection power, and you park them in one of the key rooms. So we saw for the first time guys that are 8.5 and 9 million collection powers on teams that we're playing. And we average around 5.5 to 6, I think, is what our average is. And so they parked that guy in the security room and put out all the tough rooms around that. So it was a really, really rough war. And then on top of that, we found yet another crazy Alliance War where we saw our first 600k war defensive team. And it was a full meta symbiotes team with I think it was Shuri was in there, plus everything else. It was just wow. And then we've now seen this week, I lost count, particularly in that first war. I think we saw 15 teams above 500K in the first few hours and just stopped counting. So clearly that's the new meta for the summer. So Frid, should we just call it a day and park our heavy defensive teams in there? And
I mean, what are we supposed to do here? You keep looking at these teams and you're like, what are we supposed to do? I don't have anything for that. Yeah. And you just sit there staring at the screen with nothing to do.
Yeah.
When these people outspent you this much. I don't know.
So it's all within the rules of the game. You can go spend as much money as you want and you get to, cause problems for others. And if they like doing that, fantastic. Good for them. But, on top of that, we've now had several retirements and several more people that are considering either going full casual or even retiring. And so we talked at the beginning of the show about we're running out of things to do, etc. And I've been overly negative throughout the show over the last few weeks because we've not seen anything to really say we're going in the right direction. And it's very easy for us to be negative. It's just super, super easy, particularly in the news cycle and the culture that we live in now, to do that. We clearly see Scope Next. I think as someone called them that. Scopely, Scopely, Fox Next, Scope Next. Is clearly not listening to the player base. They continue to have terrible offers. Now they're not even giving people the benefit of spending money now, because Black Order's been out for what, 3 months maybe. The first month they don't even work. And then after the first month, you get maybe 1 or 2 months, and then we already have multiple counters to the Black Order. So I don't want to go too far down that path. It's real easy, and you can get sucked into being negative. So I want to turn the tables a little bit and talk about what is kind of keeping me in the game. And so for me, Black Bolts, hands down. I get annoyed when I can't use Black Bolts. And the Greek rates. I'm like, darn it, I don't have Black Bolt. Why didn't that guy die when he has the little sliver of health? And we talked about that many months ago. It never gets old playing with him. Love him. And I am super excited for members of our alliance to, there's a few that didn't get Black Bolt, for them to unlock him, and then for our audience as well. For those that have not experienced Black Bolt, it is like playing a different game, and I love playing with him. And the other thing is raids. While I have the same lane and I have the same nodes, I still view it as kind of a personal challenge to play it perfectly, or to start mixing up and matching teams. So I'm always either doing, trying to be as perfect as possible. I don't use raid heals. I've talked about that in the past, just so I can make it extra hard for me to get through and give me that extra challenge. Or I start doing new combinations of teams. So Frid, what's keeping you in the game? Let's focus on some positive things.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with those. I definitely, have a max out Black Bolt, and I was like, is there any regret here? There is none, and this confirms it. I mean, it is definitely. One of our alliance members was thinking about quitting, and I talked to her, and then she said, "Well, I'll get Black Bolt." I'm like, okay, just hang on. Once you get him, let's talk again, because it's like a new game.
Yep.
So I thought that was interesting. For me, I like these resource management games. I mean, I've said it before. We love the numbers. We like spreadsheets. We like to be, okay, how can we do this efficiently? Try to beat the system. That to me is still, I mean, even though it stresses me out, but I do like to. That's why this Emma thing frustrates me because I feel like the average player may not do it. They do the occasional refresh, and then they may luck into a 5 star
Red
Squirrel
Star,
Girl
yeah, yeah.
by just the 24 that all of a sudden, and I'm planning all this out trying to defeat the system. That's what I like to do, and that keeps me in these kinds of games. It doesn't have to be this one. As I mentioned, I have tried several editions of this same game, but that is one thing. And then the alliance. I mean, just talking with people, just coming together. We've been together for such a long time. That's something that keeps me in the game. And I guess other than Black Bull, I come to the realization that those things are not about the game.
Yeah.
There could be any game, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. It's like we need something here.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm gonna transition a little bit to the last topic for the week, and it has to do with alliance management. And as you predicted, Creative, correctly, we are seeing the defections. People are starting to get bored. People are starting to get frustrated. We get a week like this one where you have these wars that are ridiculous and there's more frustration. So a lot of our veteran players are starting to kind of echo these sentiments that we had at the top. There's too many repetitive Blitz tasks that are time consuming and they don't reward enough. But you have to do them so that you don't fall even further behind. You know, we talked about this roadmap and you nailed it. I mean, it has materialized into an enormous, just missed opportunity that you described it as. I mean, here's Scopely coming in, big splashy announcement out of nowhere on a Tuesday. Everybody's all fired up. And there was literally nothing that we wanted in there. And there's still 5 months left in this year. I mean, who wants to do tier 15? Who wants to do ISO 8? Do you know anyone?
We did do a poll in our Alliance family, and not everybody voted. There's hundreds of people in the Alliance family, but I found it very interesting. I put the categories of I'm super excited about the announcement, I could care less about the announcement, or did nothing for me, and then it sent me to a deep despair. And it was 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 almost across all of them. So some people were super excited about Doctor Doom, and that's great for you. Other people what's this doing for me? And the other people realized oh crap, there's nothing for me here. So it'll be interesting to see where we go.
Yeah, I'm hoping they have an ace down their sleeve, because what we hear is, well, I want to stick around because love the alliance, the chatter, all that stuff that we built together as a group, and that's what keeps us together. So here's some suggestions that off the top of my head here. War. We need to do something about this. I mean, with what we experience, this is just gonna get so frustrating that I don't even know how many people will quit out of this when you have things that you can't do anything against or forced spending, right? You gotta buy the pack of shame, or otherwise you don't win.
I don't think the pack of shame would even help in those scenarios. You can't beat these teams because they're so huge.
Well, you need so many attacks.
Oh, fair, yeah.
Yeah, you may not even have the roster to do it. I mean, something needs to be done about it. I don't know what. I'm out of ideas with war. It's not a fun mode for me. And then the other one I think we've talked about before. There's modes where you bring the alliance together beyond war and raids, right? Once you get your lane and you kind of know what you need to do. And then in war, some communication about boosting and maybe tag teaming some of these, but that's about it. some of these other games have these modes where they put some big giant objective that you have to grind at, and everybody has to go after it. And in the Galaxy of Heroes, it was the Rancor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the Rancor from the movies?
Yeah,
That Luke fought.
Yeah.
So there was a strategy by which you had to go in and take out the door, and the door would crash on the Rancor, and then make him vulnerable for a little bit, and then you could say, "Hey, the door's down. Now get in and do your damage." And anyway, it doesn't have to be the same, but something that requires some more alliance collaboration, I think would help the game. And that's just about alliance. There's other things they could do for individual, but I feel like we need something more than this wave after wave of opponents with our five-member team to go beat, because every mode is basically that in a different container. So, any other thoughts here?
Well, we've played another game that has real-time PvP, and that was certainly very different than playing against the AI. So I do think there's potential there. You've got to fix Blitz and other things before you throw on more stuff. And then raids, not only do we need to get a new raid, but I think it has become a very solo activity. You get your lane, and yes, there's heavy dependency on people sharing your lane or crossing your lane, particularly for the Greek raids, but it's still a very solo activity. So I think making more joint lane raids to kind of enforce cooperative play. Ultimately, that's why people play these games, right? There's only so much you can do from a solo game perspective, and there's some great solo games out there. This is not that in any shape or form. So I think your idea of the boss, or a better, more cooperative raid attack, I think those are good. And then certainly you can do some things even within the alliance. Whether it be PvP within the alliance or other things like that to kind of encourage a bit more cooperative play. We're just a group that's very vocal and enjoy chatting, but I think you got to do more in the game to draw people there, instead of we spend more time in Discord than we do in the game.
Let me ask you this: you played WoW for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything from there that you think could be transplanted here? I know I'm just thinking this on the spot, but you played that for a long time, so maybe you have some ideas.
I mean, that's a single character that you're playing versus using a team. Everything that I would think about would be kind of fundamentally a different game.
Too different, yeah. Okay.
So it would be like all of us taking a team in at the same time and playing something would be amazingly crazy. Can you imagine? Like what they would come up with? Like Dark Dimension 5 is you and I get to go in together and play. Like we'd have to go against 50 guys or something. But some sort of cooperative thing, and even a little thing of just being able to see war attacks, I think it could revive the war a little bit in terms of being able to participate and see. But some sort of cooperative play I think would be interesting, whether it be something taking PvP but making it cooperative, since to me it would be really interesting. But again, that would be a fundamentally different game.
Or like a tag team or something.
Yeah.
You tag in, hey, help me out. We're together against these other two guys or something.
Yep.
I don't know. They have obviously the brains to mess with the ores and the drop rates. We need the brains of making a fun gameplay to be activated.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't want to, I think overall, I love this IP. That's another thing. I love still seeing what they do with these characters. I love the MCU and all this stuff. So, we don't want to be too negative. It's just we want a better game so we can give you our money. It's here, ready to give it to you. We just need to make it happen.
And what you've shown us is not it. So, So let's not end too negatively. So I promise that we're going to kind of focus on more the tips and tricks that make us better players, better alliance members, and all that kind of stuff. I think we've made our point. We've beaten the horse several times now. Hopefully Scopely listens. But if they don't, there's definitely going to be a shakeup across the game in a not too distant future for sure. If they don't address their existing business model, which is sell us war characters, which we're not excited about. All right. Well, with that, let's wrap it up. If you have some ideas about how you want to make the game better, or you've come across some of these counters that we talked about, feel free to reach out to us. We're at rngingame@gmail.com. We're on the Ragnarok public Discord, which is always in the show notes or description. And then also on Twitter, are at RNG So thanks, everybody. Hopefully we weren't too depressing this week. Stay happy. Stay safe. Thanks, everybody.
We'll talk next week.